AI is making it easier than ever to build solutions with the Power Platform, but how can we harness the power of AI to build solutions and make sure that they're accessible? Yana is here with us today to show us how it's done. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Low Code Revolution. I'm your host, April Dunham, and today we have Iona Tanse here with us. So welcome to the show. Iona, how are you doing?
Very good, and thank you so much for having me, April. I'm so excited about this conversation.
I am so excited to have you here. So for those of us that aren't aware, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. I work in accessibility innovation at Microsoft, and I'm also a proud dyslexic, which was something that I was diagnosed with recently. Well, recently, 3 years ago. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Well, so we've talked a little bit, and I know that you've been doing a lot kind of in the AI and accessibility space, and you've been doing a lot of cool things. I saw on social media that you released an accessibility toolkit, and I got a lot of attention from the Power Platform community. So I want to focus in a little bit on like the AI stuff because we know we've seen a lot of AI innovation lately, lots of things going on, especially in the Power Platform space with all the co-pilots that we have being introduced and announced. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of touch on is how does that apply to accessibility and have these different AI innovations that we have? Do we have any special considerations that we should be thinking about when we're using AI and integrating it into our solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so excited. I know that every day feels like we are talking about AI, but it's such an amazing moment. So when we speak of accessibility and disability, I think we kind of have to narrow it down to two areas. One, we are talking about the models themselves, right? And we want to ensure that the models, as they are produced, are inclusive of people with disabilities. Because if they're not trained on data that represents the diversity of disability and intersectional considerations out there, then the models are not going to serve our clients or our audiences. And I'll give an example, which is a industry-wide opportunity right now. When it comes to speech, we all as an industry have an opportunity to ensure that speech models are recognizing all types of speech, including those of people with disabilities. So if you think of ALS, if you think of Tourette's, if you think of other types of disabilities, current models don't really serve that population. So we recently announced a speech accessibility project, which is focusing on exactly that and making sure that as an industry, we are really making sure that our models are inclusive of all people, including people with disabilities. And then there's the usage, if you will. And I'm really excited about copilots because I think generative AI, and especially in the copilot field, it can totally be a massive aid to people with disabilities. So let's take somebody who is neurodiverse like me. I don't have to write things from scratch. I can interact with Copilot and it can do and generate code for me. If I have a mobility disability, it can absolutely help me automate so many of the repetitive tasks that otherwise I would have to do. So I think as we're thinking of people with disabilities as users of the Copilot, there's an amazing opportunity there as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's one of the things that really excited me about all the Copilot stuff is how much it's going to unlock, just making it easier for anyone and everyone to be able to build solutions. And I think that's one of the things that why I love the Power Platform and what sets it apart is it's already reducing barriers to entry for people to, be developers and build solutions and all that because it's, like kind of more of a low code tool. But then you add on now all these Copilots and then the AI stuff on top of it. And it's really, like you said, neurodiverse people or anything like that, just breaking down those barriers even more to where people, can really be part of the development process. Oh, go ahead.
No, and I love that empowerment because we know that people with disabilities often, face challenges in terms of entering the workforce or getting accommodations they need. So this type of technology really levels the playing field and empowers everybody. So my wish is for everybody to try it out because it's the future. And Power Platform, to your point, already gives us such an advantage of like, I don't have to be a coding expert. I can just use it. And this just takes things a little bit further. And that's really exciting.
For sure. And, one of the things that we've talked about accessibility and, considering that when we're building solutions here on the show a few times. But I think one of the things that I wonder with the AI stuff too is do we need to consider like maybe like bringing people with accessibilities into the development loop? Because again, that's one of the things that's really powerful with the Power Platform is that anyone can be a developer. So what's your thoughts on maybe, I guess, like co-creation, I think is what I saw referred to as in the Accessibility Innovation Kit there when I was reading a little bit about that and like the impact that can have on building solutions.
We totally advocate for having people with disabilities in every stage of product development. And there's this motto in the disability community, which is called "Nothing about this without this," in the sense of if you're building products, the disability community should be part of it. So there's things as a product owner, product maker, whatever you are. One, please hire people with disabilities. There's amazing talent out there. And if you don't have the opportunity to hire people with disabilities, let's say you're a sole entrepreneur, make sure you engage the community and make sure that you work with them, not only when the product is built and you're wanting to test, which is something quite common, but really from the get-go, in a sense of, hey, I have this idea of innovation. How can I ensure that my product is accessible to everybody out there who I want to include and I'm not accidentally excluding? Because the opportunity is incredible in terms of how many of us have a disability. And we really want to make sure that people are getting the best of their solutions as well, and they're serving their clients. So it's really important to consider, can I bring people with disabilities from the innovation stage? As I'm ideating, who am I having and considering? What type of disabilities I might be accidentally excluding? Those are all considerations that we generally refer to.
Yeah, and I love the examples that kind of I saw of like, companies building solutions with that in mind and co-creating and all of that. I think it's something that we can definitely apply to the Power Platform solutions that we build. I mean, it's just going to be that much better if you have, someone with the disability that you're trying to make sure that you're accommodating for in your solution, test it out better than, than we could, not knowing the ins and outs of all of that. So definitely encourage you to check that out. Now, I've talked a lot about the Accessibility Innovation Kit a little bit, and then your work on the AI for Accessibility program. Can you tell us a little bit more though about all that work and the program and all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we announced the AI for Accessibility program around 5 years ago. And really, it's a grant program that is meant to accelerate accessibility innovation because there's such a need for this everywhere. So the program offers grants to researchers, nonprofits, startups, and it's powered by AI. That's the name. And really, the goal is to ensure that we're pushing the needle when it comes to accessibility innovation. And in these 5 years, there's been incredible learnings that we have had, our grantees have had, and we wanted to share that with the world, really, because we believe in the power of sharing. We believe in the power of, hey, this is what we learned. These are things that our grantees have produced in terms of open data sets you can plug into. These are things in terms of research to consider. It's our business models that have been wildly successful based on accessibility. So we published the Accessibility Toolkit to really help everybody think of it from the get-go and hopefully get on the same journey.
I love it. I think it's such a great resource. I know I've shared it with some people on social media, and they've found a lot of benefit in it because I think that's oftentimes the hardest part is where do I even start? What are the things that I need to consider? What do I need to do? And that's a good resource to kind of to get you going there. And of course all the AI stuff. There's so much I think that untapped stuff that we can do to help make sure that we're building more accessible solutions. Like just the other day, I was playing around with Copilot and Power Apps, and I thought I'm going to try asking it like, what do I need to do to make sure my app is accessible? And it actually came through with like a list of good suggestions and ideas of stuff that I can do. So I think we'll just see more and more innovation like that with how we can use AI to help us build more accessible solutions for sure.
That's fantastic. And it makes me happy that you played with that.
Yeah, always trying to think of ways, that we can use that for building better apps. So, with all this said, how can organizations really get started, and where can they go to learn about this? Where can they find more about the AI for Accessibility program and the innovation toolkit and all that?
Absolutely. So if folks want to head over to aka.ms/innovation toolkit, you're going to find all this wealth of information and the link to our program. Our recommendation is start building from the scratch, considering disability and accessibility innovation. You have better products as a result, then you're going to serve a bigger community, which I know that we're all interested in. As you go on that journey, please reach out to us. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I would love to hear if you're putting our toolkit into practice. So please feel free to say hi and let us know. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know what Power Apps you're building using it, because that would be amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely let us know. Let me know too. I'd love to see more examples of, Power Apps built with these accessibility things in mind, for sure, using the practices and examples we see in that toolkit. So thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great to have you share a little bit more about your work and accessibility.
Thank you so much for having me. And everybody, please build with accessibility in mind.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Low Code Revolution.